Hey, so I'm gonna do my coming out story. I've seen a lot on YouTube, especially since National Coming Out Day happened recently. Um, I want to do this because of seeing other videos, and I know the videos inspired me a lot and helped me to know that I'm not lonely and the only one going through what I'm going through. So I'm hoping my video helps someone out there, or is just a video that you click on and decide that it relates to your life. That's my purpose. I really want to help somebody, even if it's just one person. So when I was 9 years old is when I first remember actually acknowledging the fact that I had feelings for other guys. Um, I think I knew before that also, just because I was okay with kissing a guy when I was 9. Um, so yeah, anyone that I actually know is an interesting way to find out, but hey, it's one way to find out. So then, during that period of time, third grade, is when I absolutely knew that I liked guys also, because I'm not fully gay. I'm a halfie. I'm bisexual. I like calling it halfie or anything other than bisexual. I don't know why. Just the word bisexual is just so bland, I guess. Even though it encompasses everyone, it still feels bland. Anyway, so really the first person I ever knew was my cousin Angel, because I told her when she was about 13 or 14, something like that. I think she was a freshman in um, high school. And funny story, she grows up, turns 20, well, 18, 19, whatever, around that time. And I actually kind of help her come out to her parents, which is crazy. I didn't expect, her to be a lesbian. But whatever, it's kind of cool. It means I'm not the only one in the family. So then after that, I didn't really tell many people, but I did meet another gay person around 5th grade, which I think was honestly like really the first one I ever interacted with, which I know it sounds like I'm mentioning them as if they're animals, but I'm one of them, so whatever. But yeah, so he was cute and we kissed and all of that, but after that, I think I really had a hard time with it because growing up in a Christian home, I always had the religious aspect that I had to think about. And I never really believed I was going to hell just because it didn't make sense to me. I loved God, I have a relationship with God. How could I go to hell for something like this? But it still really bothered me because I felt like God made me wrong or created me wrong or my wires got mixed up or there was just a defect in me. And I think that's what really got to me all the times. I just felt like I was messed up, that I'm not the person I'm supposed to be, that I'm going to disappoint everyone because I'm not who they want me to be. I was the good kid. Well, I was a brat when I was younger. But when I got older, I was the straight A student. I was the Boy Scout. I was the rule follower. Like, I was that kid, and I was afraid I would disappoint my parents and everybody around me if they knew, because I would be the messed up one. I would be the one that they didn't love. I specifically remember a time when we were watching TV, and it was me and my parents and my siblings and everyone, and two guys kissed on the TV, and they're like, "Ew, that's so gross! I can't believe that!" And like that hit straight to home, cause I felt like they were saying it directly to me, and I knew they weren't, but I mean, how could I ever imagine being with a guy and then them being okay with it or loving me if they thought it was so disgusting? And then my sister one day, she had a gay friend, and we were driving home after hanging out with him, and she turns to us boys and she goes, "I don't want any of you to turn gay. Ever." And I was just like, oh, dang. Little does she know. So, but I was always scared to tell her. Like, even more scared to tell my parents because of that one exchange. I thought she would never accept me. And that hurt a lot. She was my older sister, and it happens. But in 8th grade, I finally got tired of hiding it and holding it in, and I couldn't do it anymore. So I decided I was going to tell my mom. I couldn't tell my dad because my dad's acceptance is the absolute utmost thing that I care about the most. If he doesn't accept me, I don't know what I would do. My mom, I love her to death, and I want her to accept me too, but I can live if she didn't, even though it'd be difficult. I love my parents so much. But I was planning on telling her when she woke me up in the morning for school, and that just never happened because I couldn't actually say anything. And then I thought about writing her a letter, and I couldn't give it to her because I was too scared. So finally, being a little impulsive, they left the house, and I went to the library, and I got on Facebook and I typed in a status saying, I'm finally ready to tell the world that I'm bisexual. And I sent it, and I got off, and I went to the park and waited till I thought they would be home and have got on Facebook and looked at it and thought about it and dealt with it, and then I'd walk in the house, which did not go like that because I finally went back to the house, and then they came in, and then I saw my mom get on the computer, and then I saw her get on Facebook, and I turned around to walk out the door, and as I'm opening both doors, she turns around and says, Matthew, is there something you need to talk to me about? And I'm like, no, I'm gonna walk away now. And I went to walk outside. She's like, no, is there something we need to talk about? It's like, no. She's like, come to my room so we can talk. I was like, oh dear God, I'm going to die now. It was it was so difficult. I can't even remember walking to the room. I was terrified. So I walk into my mom's room, and she's sitting on the bed, and my dad's standing across the room. And I'm assuming, college student, always tired. I'm assuming she told him. He's standing there, and my mom does the normal parent thing. And she asks me, are you sure? It's like, yeah. She's like, why do you think that? And I was like, just because I am. And honestly, the whole exchange is kind of hard to remember. I was a little emotional. um, they asked how long I've known, and I told them since I was 9 at least. They told me it could be a phase, and I told them it's not. And all I know is I started crying because I felt so ashamed. I felt like I disappointed them so much. And my dad's a very quiet guy, so he didn't say anything. He just stood there, and I never looked at him because I couldn't deal with looking at his face. But when I started bawling right there and standing, he just came over to me and he hugged me, and I just cried. And that was probably the best thing he could have done. Not say anything, not just stay quiet, but just hug me, because it showed me that he still loved me. And then they let me go, and I went to my room, and I can't remember the rest. All I know is my mom tried to talk about it sometimes, and that was hard because I wasn't ready to talk about it. I wanted them to ignore it, but I didn't want them to pretend it wasn't there, which didn't really make sense, and I kind of feel bad for my parents because I didn't have it all figured out, and they didn't expect this at all. Well, my mom did tell me that the family had kind of wondered because of when I was younger. I don't know. I was that kid that always played with dolls and Barbies and got Polly Pockets for whatever reason. So they kind of guessed. I thought playing with Polly Pockets were fine. Maybe not. But anyway, so she started reading books, Christian books about having kids that are gay and how to deal with that, and she started talking to me about scriptures and all of that, and that really messes with your mind. And there was many times when she tried to talk about it, and we'd get in an argument, and I would run out of the house, and I would cry, and it was a really difficult time. Me and my mom's relationship was really difficult then. Oh yeah, and right after I did tell them, they asked me if it was okay to tell my family, and I told them sure. So they went to my siblings and one by one and told them. Um, and then they called my grandparents and told them. Which surprisingly, even though my grandparents are old fashioned, like they're all just like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." So whatever. They didn't tell a couple of them because, like Grandpa Rick, not that any of you know who that is, but still, um, I didn't tell him because he's more of a manly man and doesn't go so well. And then one of the times that I went and saw my cousin, my uncle came up to me and told me that he's proud of me that I was able to confess that it was really bold and whatnot, but that he doesn't like it. Like, he was accepting and respectful of it, but he wouldn't want his own son to be that way, which I can understand. I mean, honestly, I don't want to have a son that's gay, not because, or a girl that's a lesbian, not because I hate them or that I would dislike them, just because I don't want them to go through this. And I don't want them to have to deal with it. But yeah, after that, me and my mom relationship was bad, and my dad stayed quiet, so it was whatever. And finally, me and my mom had to communicate over Facebook messages because we couldn't do a face-to-face exchange, which I mean worked out well. I was able to tell her things sometimes. Which in ninth grade, I got a boyfriend for the first time, and um, it was over the internet. And my friend knew the person, but I never saw them. But during that period of time, me and my mom again started fighting. Well, not really fighting. We just, when me and the guy decided to date, I got on Facebook late at night and I changed my relationship status to in a relationship with him. And then the next morning, I left for scout camp, so I didn't have to deal with it. Everybody could find out and deal with it, and when I come back, I will deal with the mess. And my mom saw it the next day, got on my Facebook because she has my password, and took it off. But little did she know, basically everybody I know ended up seeing it, which is basically how I came out to a lot of people, is just seeing it over Facebook, which is fine with me. They stayed quiet. I didn't have to deal with it. Whoop-de-doo. But me and my mom started fighting again over that, or arguing, but we got better. She didn't want me to have it on my Facebook because she was worried about my safety. She didn't want people finding out and criticizing me or beating me up or anything like that. And then sophomore year, I had actually told my best friend of the time, Chris, and my friend Samantha, who happened to be bi also, and telling Chris I told him over Facebook because I couldn't do it face to face. And then, which I have a hard time with that face to face thing. And then the whole rest of the school found out because they saw my Facebook status and then they started talking about it. And then my friend Robert came up to me and was like, "So I'm hearing this rumor that you're bi. Is that true?" I was like, I don't want to lie to my friend. I'm not going to lie to him. But I knew I told him, he'll confirm it with the others and it'll get around school, which he did. And I told him yes, and he went back, and then everybody knew. It was like the talk of the day. And there was me, Samantha, and Kristen. So we were the bi-tri group. Because God knows we need a name to call the bi kids. There was two girls and me. Whatever. It was kind of cool, though. But that was the last day till Christmas break, so I had a break all the time for them to deal with it, for me to deal with it, and come back, and then nobody really said anything, which is cool. Um, which I'm pretty sure most of the teachers knew, and if they didn't, they're dumb, because people talked about it. So that's how they all found out. And then my best friend of now, because me and Chris stopped being best friends, my best friend now found out because in ninth grade, we hung out during scout camp, and we talked about girls. But I kind of told him that I had kissed a boy before, but he didn't really understand it because I didn't completely say it. And then during that winter, we were on a camp out, and we stayed up late at night, and it was cold, and so we started talking again, and I fully told him, and he was like, "Oh, okay," and that was it. I'm just like, "Oh, well, I'm glad you're cool with that." So then we stayed best friends. Kind of just happened, and we hung out all the time, and at this point I can tell him absolutely everything about it, which is amazing. Like, even when I had feelings for him, he's best friend a person could have. Like, God, I don't really even know how to explain it. Just, I'm so extremely happy to have him in my life. So overall, that's kind of how I came out. I mean, it's not too, there isn't many climaxes to it. There's just, it is what it is, and now I'm in college and only 6 people know. But I've decided that if anybody asks, I'll tell them. Ask specifically, like, "Hey, are you gay?" And I'll be like, "No, I'm a halfie." Because I'm tired of hiding. I'm tired of lying to people. And I know it'll cause some weird situations sometimes. But this is me. And anybody that can't accept that, then they're not worth it. I am me. You are you. Anybody that asks, I'll tell them. Even though I'm at a Christian college, I will tell them. And a lot of them won't agree. And a lot of them will throw Bible verses at my face. But hey, it's what it is. So just don't be afraid. Know that there's other people out there just like you. People that go through struggles, people that feel alone, people that just want to tell the people close to them, but they can't because they're scared. Come out when you're ready. Don't rush it. And if you're like me and you're not ready, but you're so tired of hiding it, then I guess there's a place to start. Just boom and let it out. And it'll be difficult. It will. But mine and my relationship with my mom now is amazing. It takes parents a while to understand and figure it out. And a lot of times people just need a little time. I mean, we've had a lot of time to deal with it most of the time. Give them a little time. They're not gonna, some people aren't gonna be able to change their view on the world in just 10 seconds. Sometimes they need a week. That's okay. Give them that week. Allow them to figure it out. And if people aren't so good with it, and people have already come out to them within a recent time, wait a little bit. Otherwise, they might start thinking the whole world's going gay. These straight people, they need a little help. Don't confuse them. They don't exactly understand this whole world. But just, as everyone says, it gets better. And it really does. I mean, there's people out there just like you, and eventually you'll meet them, even if you're in a small town. I was from a small town. There was a couple, not many, but you'll find people that are like you. And know that if you don't, it's okay. There's people on the internet, be careful with that. Just, internet's not a safe place. But there's people out there that'll be able to relate. And then there's books, and there's websites that are places that you can find help. And there's places to call, and there's amazing different things that you can do to help. And things that people love to help. Like me. You having struggles, I will be happy to talk to you. Absolutely thrilled. Like, that'll be the highlight of my week. Like, I want everyone to be okay. So yeah, message me if you need, email me, comment, any of that. I would say rate, subscribe, like, all of that, but that's not as important. What's important is you being able to be you, as I am able to be me. So I'd rather you talk to me than rate and subscribe, all that. But if you want, it's good with me. Bye. See you later.